back to another episode of the Nurse Aspect where we assess and evaluate. Today we have on the show Nurse Connie. How you doing,
I'm
girl?
good. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the show. I
Thank you.
appreciate you coming. I'm Nurse Becca, by the way. I forgot to say that, but I'm still new at this, but whatever. Welcome to the show, though.
Thank you.
How you feeling?
Excited.
Good. Excited slash nervous?
Yes.
It'll be all right.
No,
It'll be
very.
all right. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So tell me, why'd you get into nursing?
So it took me actually a while to get into nursing. I was actually like an art major in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously I knew like it's gonna be hard to make a living out of that. And it's so weird, but I got into a car accident one day
Oh,
and like it just like I felt like I needed to help and like I went running and I loved that rush and like needed to be like in the middle of it.
you got into a car accident?
Yeah, a
And you
drunk
wanted
driver
to
hit me and like
oh, and you wanted to help the other driver?
right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I was, like, in the middle of it, and I
Oh
was
my
like, "Oh my
gosh.
god, I love it." So I actually tried to get into, like, a EMT, which that didn't really work out, but then I started just, like, looking into, like, healthcare that way, and
Mhm.
I got involved that way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's so crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, I mean, you sound like if you were running to help people, like, I assume you were okay. Was the driver okay?
Yes, they were all fine.
Okay.
I did see, like, one of the other car that was hit, it was, like, a family,
Mhm.
and, like, the baby, the car seat, like, flipped, and, like, the mom wasn't
Oh,
moving. I found
no.
out, like, later on because I had to go to court.
Mm.
That, like, the mom broke her hips and, like,
Oh
it
my
was, like, pretty
god.
bad, but it was a drunk
Wow.
driver in the middle of the
Wow.
day, which was crazy,
Middle
but
of the day?
yeah,
Dang. Dang, it's
but
5 o'clock somewhere, I
I
guess.
know. But
That's crazy.
yeah, so
Alright, so you got
you realize that was my sign.
okay.
Yeah.
So, did you ever go into, like, the ED or anything like that, or no?
I didn't. Luckily, I was fine, but,
No, I mean, like,
or, like
nursing-wise, like
no, I wanted to, but then, I don't know, I kinda just I didn't really, like, look into, like, specific. I just kinda wanted to be a nurse. I just wanted to help. That's really
oh.
what I wanted to do.
So, like, where did you start? Did you start off, like, as a PCA or anything like that, or did you
So
just jump right
when
into
that happened and because of, like, other issues, I couldn't really get into nursing right away, so
mhm,
that's why I was looking into, like, EMT,
mhm,
and that didn't work out, so then I started doing, like, medical assistant class. So
okay,
I did that, I graduated with that,
mhm,
and I worked, like, for, like, a year as a medical assistant,
mhm,
and then I got into, like, school again and started doing, like, the prereqs, and then eventually I got into the program. So it
okay.
was, like, a long journey before I even started
That's
nursing.
listen, but you are where you are for a
Yeah,
reason, so no worries. It
yeah.
doesn't so I always tell people, like, whenever I meet someone and they're like, they could be out of, like, fresh out of nursing school or,
Yeah,
older nurse or whatever. At the end of the day, like, if I have a patient, you can't really tell, like, if we're both good nurses, you can't really tell, like, started
right.
yesterday versus I've been here for 15
Yeah,
years. So your journey's your journey. It is what
yeah,
it is. So, but you here, girl, you made it.
I know. It took a
Um,
while, but we're here. Yeah.
so, like, where did you start in nursing, like, area with specialty?
So I graduated community college. So
Oh,
since
okay.
I had my associates, I was like a little limited
Mhm.
to where I could work in New York because they require a bachelor's degree. So I found a job as a float, and it was overnights, part time
In the hospital,
in a
though?
hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, I just really wanted to be like in the middle of the action kind of thing. So I did that while I was in school to get my bachelor's. I
Mhm.
was a float for like 6 months, and then I wanted like a family, so I got into tele,
Mhm.
and I did that, and then eventually just kind of stayed in tele. I like
Okay.
cardiac
Where did you like, what kinda units were you floating to?
everywhere. So in the ED, that's kind of when I saw I didn't really like it because I would thought I would see a lot of action, but it was
Mhm.
mostly like like headache or like chest
Something where you could just
pain.
give Tylenol for and, like
Yeah,
okay.
just frequent flyers.
Mhm.
Nothing. Maybe I saw like one time like a big thing, but it wasn't because it was also a community
I was
hospital.
just about to ask you what kinda
Yeah,
hospital were you
it
at?
was small.
Yeah.
So that I wasn't, and it was just like a hot mess. It was just like too messy for me, and I'm kind of a little bit of type A, so I
Mm.
need some organization. So I didn't really like it.
Okay.
And then I like tele because it's still you get your like your codes or like rapid responses, but it's more organized.
Mhm.
And obviously, I really wanted to get into ICU eventually, but I never had. I mean, I did get the chance, but life happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
You wanna say what happened? Well, first of all, what ICU did you go to?
I finally, it took me a while too.
Mhm.
I actually finally got into an ICU almost 2 years ago.
Mhm.
It was surgical ICU.
Mhm.
And I started my training. I was excited. I finally was like, all right, I'll do the night shift again. Like I'll whatever. I'm finally in ICU and I got pregnant.
First of all, why is it's not a secret. It's not.
No, I got pregnant. It wasn't
uh,
planned, that's why, but
that's
it's
okay.
I love it. It's fine. It changed my
Good.
life.
And she's for y'all that don't know, she's super cute,
Thank
just like
you.
her mama, okay? But no, I mean everything happens for a reason,
Yeah,
like
for
I keep
sure.
saying. So,
Yeah,
it happens for, so that's fine.
yeah.
So you didn't like this okay. I understand you got pregnant or whatever, that's fine. But
Mhm.
did you like anything about SICU? Like if you didn't get pregnant, would you have stayed in SICU or would you have been like, nah, this isn't for me?
I I guess I didn't really get much of a chance to experience the full of it.
Hmm.
I do like the organization, like that you're actually able to focus on one patient sometimes, like 1-to-1 or
Hmm.
like 2-to-1. Uh, I like that like doctors listen to you more.
Hmm.
They
You have more
want you
like
to,
input.
yeah, for sure.
Mm.
I guess it is a little bit more not lonely, but I was used to my telly kind of rhythm. Like we're helping all each other. Like it's so like heavy that we have to be a family and help each other.
Hmm.
So I did miss that, but
Okay.
it's like it made the day go faster, I guess, because you're so busy.
Yeah.
And then ICU, it's like a little dragging.
'Cause you're kinda, like, waiting for a case
Yeah,
or whatever, something
yeah,
like that.
right.
Yeah. Did you
So
see anything cool in SICU that you liked or no?
so I was there only for, like, 3 months.
Mhm.
I did see, like I mean, I didn't think it was cool. It was like I never saw it before when, like, there was, like, a brain dead patient that was just waiting for a transplant, like, he was just donating his organs.
Oh, like, he
He
was
wasn't
gonna
there,
be
basically.
harvested is, like, what you're
Yeah, so he
saying.
was
Okay.
just kept
You kept him
alive
alive, yeah.
for the organs.
Yeah.
So, it's just weird, like, you still have to, like, care for the body.
Yeah.
So but there's no life there. It's weird. I don't
Mhm.
know. It's just like
Yeah, it's kinda a little
yeah.
freaky. I've been in not necessarily in terms of, like, seeing the patient, like, being kept alive, but I've been there where, like, the patient's being wheeled off to the OR for their last ride and
Oh,
stuff like that, and so
that's crazy.
kinda, like, learning about those kinds of things, it's like I mean, obviously, no matter what situation it is, I don't care if it's, like, a 18-year-old versus, like, a 100-year-old, it's still
Yeah,
sad because it's at the
yeah.
end of the day, it's a life that's literally
Mhm.
ending, but in the beauty of it as well, it's like that life can be helping so
Right.
many other lives too. It's sad, but, like, it's also,
Yeah.
kind of interesting to see.
You don't think of that because you always hear just, the organs or whatever, like the
Yeah,
happy side of it, but you just see this body. There was a
yeah,
person before, like they have a story.
yeah,
I don't know, it's weird. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it the surgical ICU that I was training, they were also the trauma unit.
Mhm,
So I was hoping to see like a trauma one or something,
mhm.
but I didn't get the chance. But
Yeah.
they're really good. They're really nice. So
Would you ever go back to SICU, like, eventually, or, like, do you see yourself going
uh,
anywhere else?
I don't know to be honest right now because my life took such a big change right now. Like before,
Mm,
I was like so focused in my career and just like moving up, but
mhm.
now kind of am focused on my personal life.
Okay.
But I mean, as a nurse though, you can always go back whenever. There's so
Yeah.
many like opportunities at any time. So
Mhm.
I won't, say no, but not for now.
I hear you, girl. Are you still working med surg tele?
Yeah, so after I had my baby, I needed to be closer to home
Mhm.
because I used to commute like almost an hour to work.
Mhm.
So I transferred to the same company but closer to the house and it's a step down unit. So
Okay.
it's still tele, but it's more like full stop.
Okay.
So it's not bad. It's definitely, different, but it's a lot calmer because it's also a community hospital.
Mhm.
So it's not bad.
Okay, so what are your pros and cons of med-surg tele, and what are your pros and cons for a step down?
Mm. So the pros for med-surg tele, I think it's like the family you create too.
Mhm.
It's just such a chaos and like the unit that. So I started, like I said, as a float overnight, and then
Mhm.
I was tele, and then COVID happened, and that hospital was not the greatest during
Mhm.
COVID. So
Mhm.
I
I don't know
transferred.
one hospital that even really
Yeah,
was,
oh,
yeah.
yeah, no, but it was way worse than
Okay.
other ones.
Mhm.
And I finally transferred to the hospital that I really always wanted to work at,
Mhm.
and that was also day shift, which was great. So
Whack.
I'm sorry, I
Night shift forever.
can't. I know, I wish I could, but it's so hard.
It's fine.
Yeah,
It takes special people,
I
okay,
know.
to love
Really
a night
special.
shift, all right? Exactly.
I know. Well, I did it 2 years,
It's
I
you're still
tried.
whack. You didn't give it a good effort, but it's okay.
Oh, no.
It's not meant for everybody. It's not. It's
Yeah, I
not.
know.
I literally would like
Yeah,
I feel like I tell people all the time, I'm like, I would scream. Like if I like at night, I'm like, okay, 5 o'clock, whatever, 6 o'clock, headed to work, like it's like I'm okay. But if I'm 5, 6 a.m. driving to work, I'm screaming from the time I have to put on my
really.
clothes to the time I'm opening and unlocking my door to screaming to finding parking. I'm screaming on the highway. I'm screaming at everybody. Like I'm just
Yeah,
not. I
you're so
want
used to
all the
it.
coffee. You could start an IV with coffee, and I would still be like, I'm tired. I don't want to be here.
Oh,
So I'm
no,
just
that's
not.
me with nights.
Yeah, I'm just not. I'm a night
Yeah.
owl.
I know. Well, see, it works for
I
you.
know, works for
The like
me.
the really good thing though about night shift, you're so much closer to your coworkers, because
You have to be. You for
yeah,
sure have to be. But I feel like that's how nursing should be, unless if you're like in
yeah,
an autonomous role where like, I see you kind of are a little bit alone or whatever. I feel like
mhm,
dialysis nurses also like
right,
it's only you kind of like lugging the machine around, like you
mhm,
kind of just more so on your own or
yeah,
whatever. Even like IV infusion like nurses or whatever, same thing. But
right,
other than that, like you do need a community. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure. But that's unfortunate. It's not found in that many places,
Yeah.
which it's sad. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so yeah, so finally got into the hospital I wanted, and it was also telemed surge.
Hmm.
So the good thing is like I created like a family there, and
Yeah.
to this day I still talk to a lot of them, and I'm like they're my family. They're not like
Hmm.
just
And
coworkers.
they are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the bad thing obviously is just like it's draining. Like you would go home drained,
Hmm.
even though it's you know I don't know, even if it was days, like the next day I was just dead.
Mhm.
You know,
Were you, like, full-time or,
I was
like
full time.
okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's just a lot, sometimes you would have like 7 patients and it wasn't like easy patients 'cause the unit, it was specialized in heart failure.
Mhm.
So they were really sick.
Yeah.
So that was a bad thing. And then step down, you get less patients, which is great. And
Mhm.
it's similar to ICU, which you can get A lines, you have central lines, it's easier, those things. And we don't have to do like blood work because they have like a team for everything.
Mhm.
But the bad part is lonely because it's kind of like I said, in ICU, you're just kind of focused more on your patients and
Mhm.
everyone's in their own, like world. So
What's your ratio in step down?
it's like 4 to 1.
Okay.
So it's not terrible. And it's like post op, like a lot of back surgery. So it's nothing like, you know, it's, I mean, things still can happen, but it's not as serious like open heart or like other kind of
Mhm.
step down. So
Mhm.
we'll
And
see.
also, I feel like if you're also at a smaller hospital too, like, you're
Mm.
not gonna
Right.
if anything, I feel like y'all quick to ship it, like, "Alright, let's go to a bigger
Yeah.
hospital,"
Yeah. That
so
happens a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, like, I have, like, a step down's considered, like, a post-cath patient, and, like,
That's
the
crazy.
previous hospital
Post-cath?
yeah, no interventions, and I'm like, okay," like, I guess I'll check every 4 hours for, like, vocabulary refills, but, like, in my previous job, it was like, "Yeah,
That's one of
you're
your
with 7
patients, and you
patients."
still have
Yeah,
yeah,
and then G-tubes and everything. Over
yeah.
here, it's like,
You have a blood transfusion going, you have, like,
yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
That's
No
crazy.
drips over there. Like, if you had a drip, like a heparin drip, it's like, "Alright, step down." I'm like, "Really?" Like, a heparin whatever, it's a good place.
I mean, I'm looking at you more so just because, like, the unit that we worked on, that's like, and I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of us would always be like, "We should be a step down," because
Yeah.
the unit is a little wild.
Yes.
But, to hear like, okay, a heparin drip is
Yeah.
considered step down, but I guess,
Yeah.
again, community hospital versus like,
Right. I know. I feel like I was like, "What? Where am I?" It's like,
that's
why?
crazy.
Like, even like I don't know what other drips we had, like amio drip or like all these
Mhm.
like other drips. They're ICU.
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
oh,
Wow.
I guess we're baby, but
I
whatever.
I guess.
Yeah.
They made us into some warriors over there
Seriously,
then. That's
they did.
crazy.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, now that's great for you, I guess. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's pretty
that
easy.
works great for like home life and stuff like that, like,
Yeah,
balancing that.
for sure.
Yeah, so that's good.
It was meant to be.
Yeah.
Just let it happen.
Mhm.
So.
One thing that you had mentioned before, you had said that like you, when you had got your associate's degree, that there wasn't like a lot of options and stuff like that for you. I know there was like there's like a big stigmatism around that. Like I remember when I went to school, I was just like I definitely don't want to go for my associate's degree because I for me I felt like the stigmatism was that I wouldn't be able to get into hospital at all.
Right.
I feel like hospitals are only checking if you only have a bachelor's, whatever.
Mhm.
And so I was like, I don't want to. I started out in a nursing home, and I'm like, I don't want to stay there. I want
Yeah.
to, you know, whatever. But I feel like that's a big misconception. You can get a job. I know several people that have gotten jobs, you know, with their associate's degree, and eventually, yes, go and get their
Yeah.
bachelor's and stuff like that. But that's, you
Yeah.
know,
You can still get the job, but it's a
mm,
little harder. And
yeah,
obviously you always kind of it helps to know people.
it does.
So like when I finally got my RN diploma, uh, I couldn't get a job. I applied from like all over Long Island because
Mm-hmm.
even like to like Queens or like the city. I was like, I'll go anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't getting any calls back. So one day I just like got dressed. I wore my suit, like, and I printed like a whole bunch of resumes,
Mm-hmm.
and I told my sister to drive me around to every hospital in Long
Mm-hmm.
Island. And I literally just like went to
And just
the
gave out your
hospital.
resume.
Yeah, I'm like, "Where's the HR department?" And, like,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them are like, "No, you just do it online." But I like that first hospital, even though it wasn't the greatest, they finally gave me the opportunity. They were happy that I showed up, and
Mm-hmm.
they told me, like, "There's gonna be actually a job fair next week, and just come."
Oh,
And
that's
they
great that you
told
put yourself
yeah,
out there then.
yeah, and they told the CNO that, that I showed up with my resume and stuff, so that she kinda I guess, like, it made an impact, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
What made that hospital so terrible during COVID?
I just so, everything was limited during COVID, obviously,
Mhm.
but the fact that they were like keeping like the mask for like higher ups or like supervision, and the
Mm,
nurses would had to only get one surgical mask for the whole shift,
mm,
or we didn't have gowns, so we had to
mm,
like there were days like we had to wear like garbage bags,
mhm. Oh, wow.
or the doctors wouldn't come at
Mhm,
all. So it was just literally the nurses. So they would just like
mhm,
FaceTime or like call us, asking about something so they can put
mm.
orders from home.
Wow.
So it's just there was no support for the staff. It was just like, each other. So
Mhm,
that made me really want to leave.
mhm,
And I know it wasn't like that because I had other friends who were in other hospitals.
mhm.
Yeah, they were limited, but they were provided things. They will like in this hospital, they will lock up the gloves, which
Oh, wow.
like,
Oh, wow.
you know,
That's crazy, and it's
yeah.
like, you're the one that's involved with direct patient care,
Yeah,
you know, that's a little wild.
right. And unfortunately, in the beginning, because they were such a small hospital, the COVID test, they would send them to California and it would take a week to get a result.
What?
Yeah. So, I had patients who, because my unit was the first COVID unit as well.
Mm,
I would have patients that I know had COVID. They had every single symptom,
mhm.
and they weren't allowed to be in isolation because
You don't have a positive test.
right. So
Yeah.
they wouldn't give me a mask because it
Wow.
wasn't positive. But I'm like, it's like I
Wow.
don't want to get sick. Like I know they have something. Like they have
Mhm.
all the signs.
Did you ever get COVID?
No, thank God.
Oh,
I
wow.
got it when I got pregnant.
Oh, oh.
So it's okay.
Yikes.
There was some immunity.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah.
Alright. That's
Yeah,
crazy though.
yeah, it was tough.
Mm.
A lot of actually people left. They were really upset.
How long did it when you were doing the process of in terms of, like, looking for a job and stuff like that, how long did that take you?
So again, because I didn't really know people, it took me like 6 months to finally get into the hospital that I wanted it to be
Okay.
at. I went through so many recruiters.
Mhm.
I would kind of harass them a little bit because
I
I
mean, that's what you gotta
really,
do sometimes, you need a job. Did you
I
ever try to,
know.
like, reach out to, like, your clinical instructors or stuff like that
Yes,
and nothing?
no,
Wow.
instructors. They'll go on LinkedIn and kind of like see who the manager or like
Mhm.
units and like kind of email them.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess they kind of got so tired of me that
Mm.
a recruiter kind of like helped me out and said that she knew me
Mm.
and was able to find me a job,
Okay.
which kind of helped me out that
So
way.
persistence is key.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, but it
Oh.
helped.
That's good. Do you see like I know like, you know, the hospital that you work at is like closest to home and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Do you ever see yourself like leaving that hospital to go somewhere else eventually? Like, you know, when your kid is like older or, you know,
Um,
are you like happy where you're at?
I think I'm happy because my priorities changed a lot now.
Hmm.
But I do eventually want to either go back to school or, like kind of do something else besides, doing tele that I've been doing for like the last 6 years.
I know you might not have anything like set in your mind right now,
hmm
but like what like piques your interest?
I like acute care, so like nurse practitioner, but in the
Okay.
hospital because I like to be, and like I always wanted to be in a hospital. So
Mm.
I kind of like that. Like I like being in codes or like rapid responses, but controlled, not like ED.
Not
Yeah.
not crazy.
Yeah.
So then I would assume then like if you become an MP, like you would stay like at a community hospital then, like a smaller hospital. Would you see like
Yeah, because this works with my life now, like
yeah,
if I was still like be single or like not a mom, then I would definitely be like in a trauma one hospital. Cause, but my priority now is to be home and be able to be present.
okay. Are you
I'm
still working full time?
Yeah, I
Okay.
still am.
And you're do you feel like you're working full time right now and like with your daughter, like do you feel like it's helpful in terms of like, your schedule right now or like what's it like being a mom
It's
and a nurse?
it's tough,
Mhm.
honestly. I don't know how some people do it with like multiple kids. Like I eventually do want to have more kids, but
Mhm.
it's just hard. You kind of daycare is so expensive. It's like a mortgage.
Yeah.
So
Woo,
not
it
everybody
is.
can do it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
not everybody can do that. And in my case, I have help, but like my parents they're still working or my sisters work. So it's not like they can like always watch her. So I kind of, every week I have to like, all right, who can help me this day? I kind of
Mhm.
have to like see, plan my week.
Mhm.
And when I get home, I have to, like have the energy to be with my daughter if I get to see her. Sometimes I don't
Yeah.
get to see her.
Mhm.
So it's hard,
Mhm.
but it's doable. I still like going to work because I feel human. Like I have to,
Yeah.
talk about baby all the
Yeah.
time. That's good.
Does your hospital like offer anything like in terms of like childcare, daycare, anything like that? Or no?
No,
No. I would say that was like an option
yeah,
for nurses because like
really.
we're there like literally like half like more than half the day. It's like
Yeah,
just because you're working 7 to 7, you're not leaving at 7. You sure still not showing up at 7 o'clock either.
yeah,
So I wish that there was stuff, and I'm sure there may be hospitals that do, but I wish it was more of a
right.
like a common thing. Like you're gone for so long of the
Yeah,
day, like
I know.
yeah,
It's tough. I wish it was more like resources for us, but
yeah.
we make do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a tip of the day that you would want to share, or with either your like a former self or something you wish that you knew, like coming into nursing, or something you wish you knew now?
So I think like with time, like a tip for like new grads or like, new nurses, it took me a while to kind of find my voice as a nurse. In
Mhm.
the beginning, I was really like, afraid of doctors or like speaking up or, stuff like that. So eventually, like once you realize you see things, that are not correct or like everyone makes mistakes. Sometimes like orders are put in wrong. I've
Mhm.
noticed like a lot of new grads are like scared to speak up or like ask questions. So they'll just do it and then they can harm the patient.
Mhm.
So just kind of use your judgment and professionally you can like ask questions or like question certain orders. So kind of just like don't be afraid. Like I always like used to tell the girls I used to train like just kind of fake it until you make it. And it's true. Like you study, you know your thing, you know your gut. Just follow your gut. You know if something's wrong, just
Mhm.
speak up. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
And if you do get like, spoke down to or like someone doesn't say something that's really nice, you have support
Mhm.
somehow or like your coworkers or like hopefully your manager or there's always someone that can help you out.
Yeah. I mean, I
Mhm.
think that's a definitely a great tip. I when I first got into nursing, I it's a little story time. I
Mhm.
so when I started as an LPN, I had this supervisor that was just Caribbean to the bone, okay? And she was so mean. I would not say anything.
Mhm.
And I like, for those of you that really know me, I like we could be cool, but like I'll embarrass you. Like, whatever. So
I
I
know.
like I never embarrass you, girl. I never embarrass you. But like my point is like I can make that shift. If we need to go there, I'll make the shift.
Mhm.
But when it came to nursing, I was just like, okay, I am a professional. I'm not going to be bringing that side out of me. But when I met her, I was just like, I wasn't shaking in my boots, but I was just like, I'm not going to be testing the waters. At the end of the day, I know I am working. I'm clocking in somewhere, like
Yeah.
whatever. And I also wasn't confident in saying like, okay, you're not going to be talking to me like this. I did what was required, but
Yeah.
you're talking to me like I'm stupid and I'm not. It took me a while to get there, but it came with time.
Yeah.
And so I had to like kind of prove myself to be able to like stand up for myself and whatever. And now standing up for myself doesn't mean I'm cursing this lady out
Right.
like, at every step of the way or whatever, but
Yeah.
confident and just like literally when people see you being confident, it changes the
Mhm.
perspective of everyone else in the room that's looking at you then.
Yeah.
So that I feel like is a great tip. Like you might not don't be cursing no doctor out now,
Not yet.
okay? Not
No, I'm
yet,
kidding,
not
I'm kidding. No,
yet.
no, never, never.
But just
Yeah.
becoming confident and like learning your specialty, learning as much as you can. If you need
Yeah.
other resources, if you need like education in your field, or there's like nurse talk, whatever the case is, like
Yeah.
looking up stuff to make sure that you are building up that confidence. I feel like
Yeah.
it is important.
And ask questions, like,
Yeah,
don't feel dumb or, like, stupid. Just ask. Everyone was new once, and
right.
I remember, like, in the first job, I there was one provider overnight. It was literally 1 or 2 providers for the whole hospital.
Mm.
So sometimes, like, the
For the
dementia.
entire hospital?
Yeah, it's that small.
Dang.
It's horrible. But, sometimes the dementia patients at night, they turn up.
They sure
So
do. They
oh my
do.
god. So
They
there was
do.
one that would not calm down. He would not give me anything to calm down because he was in his 80s and they were scared to give him anything.
Mhm.
He just wanted to poop at 3 in the morning. He just wanted to poop. Like he was just like screaming at me because he wanted something to poop.
Mhm.
So there I'm like calling this provider at 3 a.m., to get something for him to poop. And
Mhm.
she like killed me. She just like yelled at me, like kind of almost made me feel stupid because like how am I bothering her at 3 in the morning for
Mhm.
something to help this patient poop? So I went to the bathroom, cried. Obviously, I try not to let anybody see me cry,
Mhm.
but I didn't say anything. She didn't give me anything. I had to, stay the whole night, kind of keeping him from climbing out of bed.
Mhm.
But after that, I just like, I was like, I can't, I have to stand up for myself. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm literally trying to help this patient
Yeah.
because it's a risk. It's going to fall.
Mhm.
And after that, I kind of just like found my voice and I'm like, I have to like grow some tough skin and, speak up for myself. And surprisingly, when I started, this specific provider actually started respecting me and never
Mhm.
spoke to me again. And whenever I would ask for something, she'll like immediately give it to me, which is
Mhm.
annoying, but
Yeah.
some
It's that
people are like
confidence,
that.
baby.
Yeah.
But thanks for the tip. Thanks so much for stopping by.
No
Appreciate you. If you
problem.
whenever you get on your journey to like become an MP or whatever, come
Yeah.
back. You're always welcome back to
Thank
be on the show.
you.
Thank you so much.